Hey, I'm Andrea Nguyen, and we're going to talk about wok cooking today. And it seems so damn overly complicated for a lot of people because the holy grail to cooking successfully in a wok is big heat. We are talking flames that are licking the bottom of the wok. I use a really simple, inexpensive hack in my kitchen to do successful wok cooking, and I apply it to one of my favorite dishes all the time, and that dish is shaking beef. You want a really lovely thick cut of meat. The reason why this particular dish is so appealing and so Vietnamese is that we typically do not sit down to a steak dinner of like one steak a person. The meat's always sliced up and always shared because meat is very, very precious in Vietnam. So you take one steak and then you cut it into small pieces like this. Not only do the individual chunks of meat really soak up flavor, but it also cooks very, very quickly. And you can also control the cooking of the meat itself. We're looking at chunks that are about 3/4 to 1 inch in size. The recipe calls for roughly 1.5 pounds, and then you trim it down. So once you trim it down, you're netting about 1.25 pounds to 1.33 pounds of beef. So let's add it to our bowl. All right, the seasonings for shaking beef. Sugar, black pepper. In Vietnam, black pepper was the heat source for a lot of cooking before the Portuguese and other traders brought chilies along. So when I think of, really kind of primeval flavors of Vietnam, I think of like you're gonna get your heat from many different sources, black pepper being one of them. There's a little cornstarch. The cornstarch is there because you want the seasonings to bind to something. And here is soy sauce, which is going to give it brown coloring. Fish sauce, because it's going to give it some umami and that kind of Vietnamese flavor. And also oyster sauce. So this is a very interesting dish because when you think about it, it's got Chinese and Vietnamese ingredients. And yet the Vietnamese weren't eating a lot of beef until the French got there. So right there in one very, very simple dish, you've got the history of Vietnam in a very, interesting salad-y kind of approach. And let's just pour that over the beef. So with this garlic, you want it in really fine pieces because you want a little bit of garlic on every single piece of meat. And so that may entail, you can put it through a press if you like. Smash it. Let's give it one little final mash. Let's say you had another bad day. Gather up the garlic, dump it into the beef. Just get the seasonings around the beef cubes so that every single cube is coated with goodness. The meat's marinating, and while it's sitting around, hanging out for about 30 minutes, make your salad. So here's some sliced red onion. Use shallot if you like, but you don't want to use it just as is. So I always kind of give the red onion a little rinse. And the reason why is that if you rinse off some of the harshness of the onion, you'll be able to make this dish for a big night. Don't rinse off too much of the harshness because you want some bite left, even if it's for a romantic evening. And then we're going to basically get this salad ready so that when our beef is cooked, we're ready to roll. So a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper for sweetness, a little bit of sugar or honey if you like, and then we'll have a little bit of vinegar here and water. Don't think this is a lame dressing because it just seems very mild. The thing is that you're going to basically add the onion to it to kind of marinate a little bit. I love watercress. Watercress is the traditional green that would go with this. And then for a little extra beauty, some radicchio for color. And then if you like, some fresh herbs. And with the herbs, just, tear the leaves if they're big so that they're releasing their oils. Don't chop it up really small because then you're gonna get stuff stuck in your teeth, but also you're not going to really savor the beautiful herbs the way that Vietnamese people do. We treat it like a vegetable, not a garnish. So the salad's really like ready to go, this portion of it. And the beef's marinated just enough time. So let's walk on over here and shake things up a little bit. When you're selecting a wok for your home kitchen, you're basically taking a look at whether you want a flat bottom wok or a round bottom one. A flat bottom one is really terrific because for most stoves, you have a flat grate and it sits on the grate really, really steadily, solid on there. But if you have a round bottom one, some awesome stoves these days, like this one, have grates that you can then just flip over and it turns into a wok ring of sorts. And a round bottom wok can sit on top. Now the wonderful thing about this is that you're cooking, with a wok on a stove, but it has its disadvantages. And the disadvantages is that you're still not getting that big heat because even if I've got my wok ring, the flames are not licking the bottom of the wok. So the little hack that I came up with, I bought this cast iron wok ring and then these little terracotta feet from a home gardening shop so that I could elevate the wok ring on top and get the wok really, really close to my flames. So let's turn this sucker on really high. Extra big heat. You heat up woks or preheat them to also open up the wok. And so what I'm looking for is just a tiny whisper of heat. But this is my test. I flick a little water on it. That sounds pretty good. So I'm going to swirl in my oil and really coat the wok. Add the meat. You've got big heat, so the wok is actually being used all the way up the side. So use a wok spatula to spread the meat around, and again, you're using the entire wok surface as far as you need to because now it's like super, super duper hot. And because this is shaking beef, after the searing's going, you can try to shake it a little bit. Shaking beef is a great term because the cooks in Vietnam were shaking the meat, and it's called luk lak, so it's like, yeah, I'm shaking. If you like the sound of this wok action, like and subscribe. Now that it's got some nice char going on, give it one last walkaroo. I love that sound. I never ever got that sound without this little wok hack. Oh my goodness, that smells so incredible. But you also want it to let it cool. Hot meat on this salad is no bueno. You want it a little bit warm. Meantime, while it's cooling off, we're going to toss the salad. So the beauty of this is that you can set this up and let the salad sit for quite a while before you toss things. This is such a fabulous combination of textures and flavors. You can vary the greens and the herbs according to the time of the year. Don't leave the dressing in the bowl because this is part of the seasoning. Add it to the plate. With a platter like this, you can literally serve this as an appetizer or a snack. And if you do that, set out like small forks or small plates so that people can have a really terrific snack. Before you eat it, make sure you toss everything up because that marinade wasn't just there to season the beef. It's there to also create a lovely, lovely sauce and dressing for the entire dish. So if at a party, use little skewers or chopsticks like this. There it is, shaking beef done wok style. And the cool thing about having a really super duper hot wok full of like big flames is that searing is so awesome. You get all of that wonderful charring. It's a fabulous contrast with the vegetables, with the salads, which are like cooling and soft and tender. It's a fabulous combination of textures in the mouth.